got to be flipping my flapjacks. Today was absolute insanity in the market. There was some intense battles going on out there. I got to share a lot with you guys in opinions, perspectives on what's going on in the market right now, and some interesting dynamics that have kind of opened up. Hope you guys enjoy this video as always. So first off, if you just look at like the indexes, you would have thought today was a sleepy day in the market, right? Nothing really going on. But when you look a little beneath the surface, oh my gosh, was there absolute insanity, okay? We're starting out with FUBO stock here, okay? FUBO stock is essentially a streaming service that you can get like, like ESPN and a bunch of different networks that you might want, right? And so FUBO, this stock at one point today was up over, yes, you heard me right, 80%. Okay, 80%. Like, you got to be flipping my flapjacks. This stock finished today up 44%. This is an absolute insane move in one of just many various stocks out there going absolute bananas today, okay? Now, I didn't even realize I had owned some FUBO shares until all of a sudden I checked some, like my Ally account, and I was like, what? I had bought some shares? I was like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. A friend had texted me about this, and I was like, what? And then I got another friend who owns a ton of FUBO, so he must have been loving life today. I think he's got like, oh gosh, I think he's got like 50,000 shares, some insane amount, so he must have been loving life today. But yeah, I think I've thrown some money in this one just because it got to interesting valuation, a couple months ago, and I kind of looked at it as like, one of those companies that probably about a 40% chance they go bankrupt, 60% chance they don't, and if they don't, oh, my light went out there. I mean, the upside in the stock is just ridiculous, and so it's what I call like a flyer stock. So basically, a stock I'll throw like a very small amount of money in, kind of just thinking about it from the perspective, I could lose all that money I'd put in when I put in very little, but it's like a 10x type stock. So when it comes to this stock, I mean, the volume went absolutely insane today. It's 164 million shares traded hands, and average volume is 12 million for FUBO, so that's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, just an insane move. I mean, just incredible. It hit $8.14 at one point here today in regards to this one. Now, they got their investor day essentially after the market closed, so there's just a lot of, I guess you can say, excitement kind of going around about this investor day and their, the profitability target and whatnot, and their 3-year plan. But yeah, just an absolutely insane move for that one. Here today, if from a valuation standpoint, it's interesting because it's under a 1 price to sales ratio, a forward price to sales ratio, and very rarely you get a company that has massive growth trading at that. The only reason it's trading down there is because a lot of people figured, well, this company's a huge money loser, they're not going to get profitable for several years, so there's a chance they could go bankrupt and they wouldn't be able to, dilute shareholder value and raise money or take out debt or something like that, which if financial conditions are awful, it's definitely a possibility, and that's why I called it like a 40% chance. As long as financial conditions are okay, and especially if financial conditions are welcoming over the next couple of years, like they'll make it through, and then they'll become this like incredible stock and things like that. But yeah, it's like, does it make it through to that other side? So as long as financial conditions are okay, it can make it out to that other side. And you don't, like I said, you very rarely ever, almost never see a stock trading at, a 0.5, a 0.7, a 0.9 forward price to sales ratio that has a ridiculous growth rate like this company does. But that's what happens when you're kind of a company like that, right? The Chef made a huge upward move here today of over 11%. I mean, it seems like nothing compared to FUBO, but that's a huge move on the back of basically no news in regards to this stock here today. I was looking at this, and this is actually from yesterday. Cowen had, basically put an outperform on the stock, but they put a $10 price target on it. So, that's, the stock was, let's call it 7-ish. So, 10 is still a pretty good percentage over the next 12 months if that did happen, right? But, yeah, and I also saw another analyst had basically slapped a $9 price target on the stock. When it comes to these price targets with the stocks, it could be at $9 or $90. It doesn't really mean too much. Sometimes it can affect these stock prices a little bit in the short term, but what I've usually found is it's more impactful for actually large cap companies. And, if a big analyst comes out and, let's say, downgrades Apple stock tomorrow, you could actually see Apple stock move down, which is crazy because it's such a big market cap. But I found over time, like the bigger the stock is, the bigger the company is, the more weight like analysts have in terms of these up price targets, down price targets, and things like that. And it's going to outperform the market, it's going to underperform the market. it's kind of weird how it works, because you think it would matter more for the smaller stocks. I think it has something to do with the algos and, those kind of reading through information. And, I don't think it's as powerful for a lot of the small caps. So it just kind of is what it is. But yeah, Chef obviously had a very nice day today, For a stock like Chef, no one that's a long-term investor in the stock really cares necessarily if the stock's at 7, 8, 9, 6, 5, 4, 10, 12. For a lot of us longs that are in the stock, we're in this because we believe this is a company that's going to get to, $100 million in net income over the coming years, and then several $100 million in net income. And if that happens, this is going to be like a $40, $50, $60, $70 stock. So, any of these prices down here, most of us that are longs that are planning to hold this for the next few years, it doesn't matter. The stock could double in price tomorrow, and it still doesn't matter. It'd be like a $14 stock, like no one cares, or a $16 stock or whatever. So, but it's interesting to kind of see some of the price movements. Volume went insane today, so there's something going on, right? Almost 1.9 million shares traded hands. Average volume's 500,000. I don't know. It could be retail messing around there, but retail seemed very caught up into the stock we're about to get into in the next moment. Another potential that it could be in regards to Chef is it could be potentially a smaller fund of some kind adding shares into the Chef, understanding that likely the worst is behind that company and things get better and the losses are going to get less and less and less, and the revenue growth is going to become more exciting in future quarters, and new partnerships and things like that. So that could also be a factor at play. It's hard to know exactly kind of what's going on there, but obviously huge bump in volume. Was I out there buying the Chef today? Nope, I was not. I didn't buy any shares of the Chef here today, so I was definitely not part of that 1.9 million. That was a big number there. This stock has everybody talking. Oh my gosh, okay. Bed Bath & Beyond, BBY. Look at this, a 29% move. But that's nothing, okay? Most of the day, this stock spent much of its day trading anywhere between like $24 and $27. At one point today, it was up to $28.09 a share. Look at the volume on this one. 384 million shares traded hands. The average volume's less than 18 million for the stock. Absolutely parabolic move for Bed Bath & Beyond today. I mean, oh my gosh, you got to be flipping my flapjacks in regards to this one, okay? And this is one of the most popular, I would call it kind of, if you want to call it, put it in like the Wall Street Bets type crowd. This is definitely one of the most popular stocks in that. If you look at the other stocks that, people watch that are in the crowd, it's BlackBerry, which is another very popular stock, and obviously GameStop. I don't think I need to tell anybody that one, and AMC. Now, those stocks made upward moves here today, but it was nothing, absolutely nothing compared to obviously the move in Bed Bath & Beyond. So that seems like, at least in the short term, it is the prime target. And I think it's a very interesting prime target for that crowd because of a number I'm about to show you, which is absolutely shocking. The other reason is Bed Bath & Beyond has a relatively smaller market cap. It's, even after today's move, it's a little over $1 billion. The problem is, like, the Wall Street Bets crowd, they really, they moved up, obviously, GameStop and AMC huge over time, and that bloated those companies' market cap. And, it starts to become harder and harder to move those type of stocks with those sorts of massive kind of market caps that emerged over time, okay? So for Bed Bath & Beyond, it's actually much easier, let's call it that, to move those babies, okay? This stock is everywhere on Wall Street Bets. I went on Wall Street Bets because I got to see what's going on here. And almost every single post I see is like Bed Bath & Beyond, Bed Bath & Beyond. It is absolutely, like, I don't even remember, like, in the AMC phase, I don't even remember AMC like dominating the message board that insane when it came to Wall Street Bets. Like, this is a whole other level. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay? Absolute insanity here, okay? Now, in regards to the very important number I want to show you, okay? This is the number. So, Bed Bath & Beyond, guess what was the most shorted stock as of the latest numbers we had, okay? It was Bed Bath & Beyond at a float, as far as the percentage of the float shorted, almost 50%. Over 47% of the float was short. Bed Bath & Beyond stock. So this is a stock that, honestly, if you were thinking about a stock to get an absolutely epic move, it's a stock like Bed Bath & Beyond. You can get a little risk on. You got a very small-ish market cap there, and in a crazy short interest, you're setting yourself up for a prime, let's call it candidate, for a Wall Street Bet squad to absolutely take over. And I'm amazed at the shorts. wanted to short that stock so heavily and go so insane on that, because you got to understand, man, these Wall Street Bets folks, they look at this stuff. They're going to look at what the most shorted stocks are out there, and they're going to look at that and they're going to be like, less than a $1 billion market. Because think about that. The stock's made a massive move. I mean, a few days ago, the market cap was maybe 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, something like that. So they're going to look at that and they're like, oh my gosh, okay. And look at the short interest in the squeezy you can get on that. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely massive. And so, for that whole squad, geez, a lot of those folks got to be banking a lot of money, at least the ones that were early on there, because geez, okay. And what about the other stocks we just spoke of? Look at another one. I just brought the stock we started the video with, right? FUBO. FUBO TV, almost 33% of the float is shorted at FUBO TV. And look at the move that one had today. It doesn't take much to get an absolutely epic squeeze in these sorts of stocks, right? Yeah, setting themselves up, right? Look at the Chef. The Chef is one of the most shorted stocks in the stock market, right? At a float of, as a percent of the float, almost 29% shorted in the Chef. So it's another like prime candidate, and, relatively smaller market cap company. Those are, I don't know. The shorts have had a lot of fun, obviously, playing in a lot of these stocks for a while. But at some point you just got to understand, like, the risk reward's not there anymore. It's just not there anymore. And, they had a good run. They did. As the Wall Street Bets squad had a really good run for a while there, right? Wall Street Bets was laughing all the way to the bank for a bit, right? And then it was the shorts time. And the shorts had about an 8-month span where they got the last laugh. They were laughing all the way to the bank for a while, about 8 months straight, okay? And now we definitely obviously see a flipping happening right in front of us, right? The markets have flipped. The NASDAQ's obviously gone on a pretty beast run. There's a whole debate on how long that's going to last, and that's a whole other subject there. But clearly, like, these shorts just, they get greedy. That's the best way I can put it. As they say, bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered, and that's a famous expression when it comes to traders in the stock market, right? And, there's a big difference between an investor and a trader. An investor is usually thinking out several years and adding to a position. But a lot of the stock market is not investors, it's traders. It's people trading in and out, swinging stocks and doing these sorts of things. And, dude, you just got to understand, like, you're in a stock like Bed Bath & Beyond, like, man, are you setting yourself up in a dangerous situation as that market cap got lower and lower, and the shorts just piled in that baby, and it's like you're playing with fire there. Now, in terms of a couple stocks that I think are the next like potentials here at least, okay. I think there's a few stocks. Revolve, I think, definitely could set up as one of those potential stocks. Revolve already, if we think about the fundamentals of Revolve, they already set up the company for very disappointing next 2 quarters. They already set that up. So now on the fundamental side, if they come in and don't come in with super disappointing numbers, obviously what's there on the other side of the fundamental story? There's obviously a huge upside there, right? Relatively smaller market cap again. I believe Revolve's probably trading, let me check on Revolve real quick here. Revolve's trading at about a $2 billion market cap as of right now, and this is one that actually has a fundamental story. Like, it's a profitable company. There's no risk of like, oh, they're going to go bankrupt or something like that. Like some of these other stocks that are the super heavily shorted stocks, right? There's like a risk of like, well, if they couldn't get funding, they could, go bankrupt, something like that. There's no such risk with a stock like Revolve, right? And, look at this one. It's trading pretty darn close to its 52-week low there. Yeah, that one definitely sets up for being a potential there. Another stock I look at that I think has a potential there, I have no money invested in this stock, but I think it has potential, is Desktop Metal. I think that's another one of those stocks that folks are going to look at. Smaller market cap side, huge short. I looked at their latest growth numbers. If you want to type in Desktop Metal, earnings report, look at their latest numbers that came out of that company. Jeez, okay. So that's definitely, I think, a setup. And I think the Chef's continues to be a setup there. But I think that's kind of more of a bleed for the shorts over time, in my opinion, in regards to Chef, because they already had their worst quarter. It's just going to get better and better from here. So that's just kind of my opinion on that. But yeah, those are kind of the next 2 setups there. I think Revolve and I think that Desktop Metal company. I was thinking MicroStrategy a little bit, but in order to get MicroStrategy, you need Bitcoin to really make a big move. move. So if you get Bitcoin to make a big move, then you set that one up well because it's already huge short interest on that. So if all of a sudden Bitcoin makes some big move there. Outside of that, I was thinking WeWork a little bit, Upstart a little bit, but really I felt like Revolve and Desktop Metal are kind of the next two setups there. Big tech. So I was looking at big tech today. Not much happening there. Amazon slightly up today and PayPal slightly up. Everything else just kind of Red Dead Redemption out there. A lot of these stocks climbed big. And, I think Wall Street, if you're talking about big tech, you need Wall Street money to really move big tech. And I feel like Wall Street's probably at a little pause moment here where they're looking and they're like, okay, we've had quite a rally here. Is this lasting? Is it sustainable? Is this just the bear market rally that everybody's talking about? And that's what everybody's trying to figure out right now. How's the next earnings looking, right? How do we think these companies' earnings are going to shape up? Are we going to get any more preliminary announcements of companies not hitting numbers like we did NVIDIA a couple of weeks ago or anything like that? And I think that's what everybody's kind of keeping an eye out for now because we're in a little bit of no man's land in the market right now. And when you're in no man's land, sometimes it gets hard to make any drastic move for the markets in general, big tech in general, things like that. But you can have a lot of action going on outside of that, right? Which is obviously what we see in a lot of those stocks we just went over, like, the Bed Bath & Beyond, FUBOs, and many other various stocks. So you can get a lot of action in the market. It's just not in the ones that everybody has their eye on, I guess you can say, that are the prototypical ones, right? Now, great news. Oil continues to move down, unless you're on oil futures or something like that, or oil and gas stocks. But this is great news for basically almost everybody in the markets and everybody that cares about the economy. Oil continues to move down. And, this is something I've been talking about for at least like the last few weeks or last month or so is, for oil, here's the deal. The bull case around oil has evaporated. And that's a kind of a funny term to use when it comes to oil. But basically, everybody was so hyped up about, it's going to be a huge travel summer. Everybody's going to be traveling. The demand for oil is going to be insane, okay? It's over. It's over. The kids are going all back to school now. It's over. So that whole huge hype cycle that happened there is gone. The Russia situation is a Russia situation. That's just is what it is. So there's no huge development there at this point in time. So when it comes to that, there's not a lot to be excited about. There's a lot of, obviously the U.S. is technically in a recession right now, although they say it's not, whatever, okay? There's a lot of fear about China's economy not being in a good place in recession there. So when you have all that, it doesn't make for a good dynamic when it comes to oil prices, right? And never mind that, we're talking about production's been increased quite dramatically over the past year. I mean, look at the rig count here, okay? Rigs are up 262 in the U.S. 262 more rigs right now than there was at this time last year, right, in the U.S. 37 more rigs right now than there was at this time last year in Canada. 82 more rigs right now in international markets than there was at this same time last year, okay? So you've got a situation here where, there's a lot of recession fear still. It's just a question of how bad the recession is or something like that. The huge travel summer's over. And you're just kind of in no man's land now for oil price, which is not good when you're coming off of a hype cycle, which is obviously what oil was in for quite some time. Plus, you have an overall weakness in the commodities market in general right now going on, right? Oat futures, this is great news for Oatly shareholders, okay? Oat futures continue to tank along with many commodities out there. Oat futures had gone just ridiculous for almost a year straight to just insane prices that, it's not sustainable, but it absolutely killed Oatly's profitability in many different things. And yeah, I took a picture of this from my fridge in case anybody didn't know what the main ingredients in Oatly is. It's water and oats, okay? And so, this was a situation where Oatly's profitability just got destroyed for the past year. But things are going to get a lot better for Oatly when it comes to their bottom line and their margins over the next, let's just call 6 to 12 months. And so just look for much improvements in net income, much improvements in margins, gross profit, pretty much everything across the board when it comes to Oatly over the next, let's just call it 2 to 4 quarters. So obviously, as somebody that's been buying that stock very heavily the past 6 months or so, I'm very thrilled for what's about to transpire there and kind of what's going to happen to that company's bottom line. And, the cash burn is going to slow down in a massive way, in my opinion. We're going to see that play out over the next several quarters. And likely it's just going to get better and better quarter after quarter. And remember, oats are still trading high from where they were 2 or 3 years ago. So there could still be a lot more downside when it comes to oat prices over the next, let's just call it few months. Okay. So that's great news. Now, in regards to me in the market, by the way, can you find me in this picture? Find me, okay? Maybe I'm this guy right here, okay? That might be me, right? But find me in that picture there. But it reminds me of, you know, I don't know how many of you guys worked a retail job in the past, but my approach on the market right now is kind of like similar to like if you used to work the morning shift at a retail store or something like that. I remember at Quick Trip, sometimes I have to get up at 4 a.m. to be in at 5 a.m. essentially. And, you know, that sucked. You know, like, it never liked that. But, you know, you get in early and then, you know, people come and then obviously take your place and you're done pretty early. Like, I remember I used to get off at like 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, and it's like a great feeling, right? And that's how I feel in the market right now, where I already did my work, man. My work was done in, you know, May and June. And as the whole market just collapsed, I was out there buying and grinding and working and buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. No, I'm just kind of sitting back and just chilling now at this point in time. I'm not doing any major buys right now, and I'm just kind of letting the market do its thing now at this point in time. I already did my work, and now I'm just kind of sitting back, sipping a pina colada and just enjoying life. Like that's my approach on the market right now. And I'm just cashing up right now, and you know, if there's any, if this is just a bear market rally and we crash back down, I'll be fully ready, because now I'm in a strong cash position once again, which I was in the most weak cash position I've been in the month of June, because I had just been literally investing like an animal, you know, for a considerable amount of time. And so now I'm in this position where now I'm in a strong cash position. And if the market continues to go up, I'm just going to be in a stronger cash position. Meanwhile, I have ridiculous amount of money invested in the market, and if the market just continues to go up, you know, obviously my dollar amount goes up. So now I'm in a position of power regardless. Market goes up a ton, sweet, I make a fortune. Market goes down a ton, sweet, I'm in a great cash position. And so, yeah, I think, you know, when you're in the stock market, especially in confusing times, you want to put yourself kind of in that position of power. And, you know, yeah. So anyways, guys, that's my approach on this. That's how I'm doing it. You know, other people might be doing, you know, stuff like margining out right now and things like that, because they're like, oh man, all these stocks are moving. I stay away from that right now, man. You know, I'm not touching any margin right now, because I'm like, no, first off, I got a ton of cash. So if I wanted to put a bunch of money in the market, I would put cash in the market before in margin right now. But secondly, like from my perspective, like I think we're still at a risky moment to be like doing like any moment in the market's a risky moment to be doing margin. Never mind right now. I mean, we still got a lot of stuff up in the air. We don't know if there's going to be a major recession or not. So, you know, yeah, anyways, I just feel positioned very well. And, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. So, you know, yeah, it's you know, it's a whole process. Anyways, guys, much love as always. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Appreciate you joining me. There's always something going on in the market, man. Always some craziness. If you are motivated to scale your portfolio to 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, and beyond, and access my private stock Discord chat, access all my different course curriculums, and understand financial statements on a super high level, and you want to join us in the private stock group, check out the pinned comment down there. Apply to join us in the private stock group, and we will see if we can get you in there. Much love as always, and have a great day.